Howdy. The Tagliamento River, a model ecosystem of European importance. Abstract in northeastern Italy is a remarkable floodplain river that retains the dynamic nature and morphological complexity that must have characterized most alpine rivers in pristine state. This river system, the Fiume Tagliamento, constitutes invaluable resources not only as a reference site for the Alps, but as a model ecosystem for large European rivers. Let this sink in. The Tagliamento has a number of attributes that have not been given due consideration in river ecology. An immense corridor of more than 150 kilometers that connects the land and the sea and two biomes, the Alps and the Mediterranean. Unconstrained floodplain segments characterized by a dynamic mosaic of aquatic terrestrial habitats and a large number of vegetated islands. We believe it is critical to understand the functional roles of these endangered attributes in order to effectively engage in river conservation and management programs. The Tagliamento River in Italy offers the rare opportunity to investigate natural processes at a scale that can be studied almost nowhere else in Europe. So in a nutshell, it's an important river. But when we go down, I will put a link below. You can read the whole thing in your own pace. Wait a second, where is it? Found it. Physicochemical characteristics. Chemical composition of surface water reflects the geological setting of the catchment. The Tagliamento is classified as an alkaline river with a pH of 7.5. A specific conductance of 200 microsieverts per... I don't know what they're meaning. Maybe I will take once. I will figure them out. But until now, I haven't. It's at least the second time I read this thing. But there's other stuff about this river than just those kind of dry papers. European Wilderness Society. Here is a very nice picture of the river. A white river with turquoise-colored water, which might have its roots in the gypsum content of the water. Now, this is starting off approximately with the same sentence as the recent article. I will put this also down to the description box. There's like wilderness going on since it's the last untamed river of the Alps, which means there would have been, or there has been many of those in the past. And it is untamed because of its wild nature. Does it flood unexpectedly? These kind of things. Might it be a crypto geysir after all? And there's action going on. 1 hour ago. This is the Tagliamento, the river we just got a quick info about, that it's alkaline in nature, 8 kilometers in depth. Reports. Is there anything of interest in the reports? I was recording some material on the computer and the microphone was knocked off on my desk. Felt like an explosion of some significance. Yeah, this sounds really interesting. Can I put a thumbs up? I don't know. Never did it. 3.2, which is a rather big quake. So let's check out the closer surroundings to this quake. And there's another wide river. And there's another wide river. They are everywhere. Do we get any better quality of the picture here? Doesn't seem to. But nonetheless, wide sediments, wide rivers. And obviously it's really well scalable because now we are zoomed heavily in. It just happened on a mountain flank, it seems, the quake. But as we zoom out, wide rivers appear. Smaller ones, bigger ones, and even bigger ones. So it is totally scalable. And scalability is a very strong way to prove things. And there is also something going on in Alps again, 18 hours ago, 3 kilometers in depth. Matterhorn, again, same place, 15 hours ago. Why do we jump so? I didn't do anything, it's not my fault. Sacernière, 5 kilometers in depth, 1.0. And there was something else still. Water. Mountain water. Mineral water. From the Swiss Alps. I knew that since I'm a kid. You can have it in many flavors nowadays and stuff. And I have been checking out these. Like from there. About Valser. And check this out, what you find. I was searching for information about the water. Because they are selling water from the Alps. And obviously it just pours out of the mountain in some places, like I have showed also many times. About Valser, story. Learn more. Check it out. No compromises. Valser is climate neutral. The Valser mineral springs are resolutely and persistently committed to CO2 reduction and invest in certified climate projects to compensate for the unavoidable CO2 emissions. This makes Valser the first climate-neutral mineral water in Switzerland. Valser produces and sells all its drinks in climate-neutral CO2, climate-neutral from source to you, climate. There is nothing, any single word about water itself, but CO2 is mentioned everywhere, all over the place. So, this didn't really satisfy me. After a little research, I found out that the St. Peter's Quelle well is a thermal spring in Vals, in the Swiss canton of Graubünden. It is owned by the community. The spring comes from Rote Haard, Red Hearth area. I have to check this out still, I haven't time to do it. A new mineral water stream was tapped during new drilling. This stream, known as the new drilling, is much more mineralized than the stream of rock water, which flows out of the ground as a thermal spring at higher altitudes. During the construction of the hotel complex in the 1960s, 2 new versions were built. Water with temperatures of 20 and 23 degrees was pumped. In the 1980s, a deeper hole was dug. It supplies water with a temperature of 30 degrees. The filling station of the Valser and the Thermervals each use half of the water from these sources. The Petersquelle takes its name from the St. Simon Petrus of the parish church in Vals. The building was first mentioned in a document in 1451. In 1643, the church was largely dismantled, rebuilt, and given the additional patron Paul of Tarsus. And I have been talking about churches, about them being quite likely on some ancient sacred places. And ancient sacred places are usually places of special geological occurrences. Hence, thermal springs or whatsoever, or rocks, or a cave, or something. But mostly, I think it's water because people need water, even the monks. So, if they build a church on top of a mineral spring or on a spring, they made sure that they have water. So, if it was the only spring in the region, people have to go there to get the water. Haha. But anyway, it's no coincidence. I guess there are many churches where you would find some water spring in the basement. Is there anything in the Vatican? Yes, I guess so. Maybe there's a volcano underneath. But that's a story for itself. The water from the new borehole has a total mineralization of around 1,850 to 1,900 milligram per liter, making it one of the most naturally mineralized waters in Switzerland. The minerals with the highest dosage are calcium, white rivers, it's white calcium. Does it make any sense? It does to me. Magnesium, sodium. Magnesium could be also white, I guess, when it's dry. Hydrogen carbonate about 386 and sulfite. It is highly valued for its high calcium and magnesium content. There are two streams of water with different quality. The first stream, Felswasser, consists of rainwater that sweeps away on the summit of Piz Serengasta and runs down along the diagonal layer of earth in a melange. Due to Triassic layer, it does not run into the water reservoir of the second stream, but emerges again a little above the valley. It was only on the road for an average to 10 to 30 years and is very sulfate. I don't get this sentence. It was only on the road for an average. So it takes 10 to 30 years to, when it seeps into the mountain, come back out. It often mixes with water from the second stream, which has found its way through the loose rocks in the valley floor. Yeah, there's some contradiction in that. What? It does not run into the water reservoir of the second stream. But they mix afterwards. Okay. Maybe there's no contradiction. Which has found its way through the loose rock in the valley floor due to artesian pressure. Artesian. And so the rock water is mineralized differently depending on the borehole. In the second stream, Neuborder, the rainwater sweeps away between Valser and the start of Grabanappe. The water flows between a diagonal layer of Lugnetzer slate and Grabanappe. The two layers are a natural barrier and channel water. As it travels underground, the water is heated and mineralized by Triassic gypsum and dolomite deposits. The water finally collects at a depth of about 1 or 2 kilometers and is additionally mixed with carbonates from the lower suture zone by carbon dioxide and due to the gas pressure pressed onto the melange of the Abdullah blanket. The Abdullah nappe is a crystalline nappe and thus another water barrier. Above this blanket is a Triassic layer, which also is a water barrier, and so the water does not mix with the first stream. The Valser Valley near the source is very close to its cover, and so the water can be extracted there by simple drilling through the artesian pressure. Depending on the route, the rainwater needs between 2 and 200 years after seeping away before it emerges again. It was on the road for an average of 80 years. Or maybe it's just not so. It just emerges from the ground. Geothermal activity. The first recorded use of the spring dates back to prehistoric times, When the first thermal baths were built in 1893, a cistern filled with animal bones and potsherds from the Bronze Age was found. It is not known whether it was used for bathing or as a place of sacrifice. The first documented mention comes from the year 1670. Approximately 400 years ago, sun cycles and stuff. It is a reference to the sale of a parcel to a Säckelmeister Philipp Rüti Matzumbat. In the 17th century, it was rumored that the spring could be used as good bathing water for cold evenings. Zum Bad means to the bath. However, its use as bath was first documented in the 19th century. The water has been known as healing water since the 17th century. The first chemical analysis dates back to 1826. The mineral water was already in 1873 at the World Exhibition in Vienna, 1883 at the State Exhibition in Zurich, and 1900 in the World Exhibition in Paris presented or awarded. Yes, you can read the rest. I just wanted to show you that. I think it's very interesting. But I find so many things interesting. I cannot expect to find them for anyone else to be as interesting as they are for me. But what to do? There could be written books about this. Many books. Mineral water, glacial quakes, wide rivers, gypsum, sacred places, holy places, churches. All connected. All connected. Very interesting. But I leave it here. Thanks.